DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency, comes in to right wrongs of the past, to dig our way out of this seemingly impossible situation of 36 trillion debt burden.
If we don't deal with this now, soon, little Gamble here won't be able to get a nickel for his grandma.
How did we get here? And will Elon and Vivek have the balls enough to really do what needs to be done? Will they go far enough? And what can you do to take an active role in this restructuring of America?
Rod Kelly, you don't quit! Keep going! Keep going!
In 1945, the United States emerges from World War II as a global powerhouse. Our debt is staggering. 106% of the country's entire economic output, but America is rich in assets, booming factories, strong alliances, and an industrial complex that fuels the dreams of millions. By 1947, we're building the biggest manufacturing empire the world has ever seen. And over the next 25 years, even through the Korean and Vietnam Wars, we claw our debt back down to 30%.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The great American dream seems unbreakable. Unfortunately, the Federal Reserve, in conjunction with the US Treasury, made a fatal error. They fixed the price of gold to $35 an ounce, and the world countries began exchanging their dollars for gold. It was a run on the bank, so to speak.
Don't look now, but there's something funny going on over there at the bank, George.
In 1971, President Nixon changes everything. He announces that the US dollar will no longer be tied to gold, effectively defaulting on the promises we made to other nations. In a single moment, the dollar turns from a gold-backed currency to a symbol of America's shifting identity, from a powerhouse of production and a creditor nation to a consumer-based debtor nation. Large organizations led by the rich and powerful, like the WEF and the Club of Rome, push for globalization. Factories move overseas, globalized trade shifts jobs away from American shores, and the world chooses to trade their productive output for US dollars printed out of thin air. Fast forward to today, and here we are, drowning in over 120% debt to GDP. Without the powerful assets we once had, like gold and factories, without a healthy job market to pay this debt down like we did 80 years ago. How did we end up as the most indebted country in the world? We were that shiny city that everyone wanted to emulate, but now this city is surrounded by mountains of debt. There is an avalanche of unstable snowpack ready to bury this once great city.
Boiled in his own pudding.
Argentina was one of the wealthiest countries on earth. Then, political chaos and poor financial decisions set off a downward spiral that would take decades to reverse. More recently, Argentina has elected a libertarian leader, Javier Milei, who promised radical changes to fix what's left of their economy. History shows us that collapse often precedes any serious reforms. And already in a short period of time, it is proving to fix their massively broken system of massive government spending. What would it take for America to dig itself out?
Ministerio de las Mujeres y Género y Diversidad, afuera. Ministerio de Obras Públicas, afuera.
We need a collective mindset shift. This would mean a national focus on reducing debt and building assets, something almost unheard of today. Maybe this is where DOGE comes in to save the day. Vivek has said he would slash 75% of the federal government, returning many services back to the private sector. This would free up massive resources, and every dollar saved could be reinvested to rebuild our country and pay off this massive debt burden, incentivize people who have been out of work and all the new government workers who will soon be out of work to build up America in the private sector. Create instead of take. But is Elon and Vivek willing to go the distance? What if we phased out Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and other safety nets, programs that are $200 trillion in unfunded liabilities for future American taxpayers, my kids and your kids? It sounds harsh, even unthinkable, but drastic times call for drastic measures. Older folks who rely on it, we should keep those line items until they die. But people 50 and can start to work on alternatives as that burden becomes less and less over time. Imagine we move back to a gold standard and let the price go where it may in the free market, so we correct the mistakes of the past. This might stabilize the dollar, but it would likely bring massive inflation too once the correct price was found. And that inflation would essentially burn off a significant portion of our debt. These aren't painless solutions. Thomas Sowell says, there are no solutions, only trade-offs. The solution is strategically unwind these poor decisions of the last 50 to 80 years and go through a lot of pain now. Or let a collapse happen without any control over it and have much, much more pain later, perhaps with an outcome of war, famine, and possibly no country at the end of it. To me, I take the strategic pain now strategy. The real question is whether Americans are ready to face the avalanche. Like mountaineers carefully setting off controlled explosions to prevent an impending disaster, we'd have to systematically blast away the layers of financial burden we've built up. Could we even find the political will to make such monumental changes? And what about the global stage? Could America step back from being the world's police force, pulling troops from our 750 bases worldwide, and create a new era of diplomacy, maybe even aligning with Russia and other powers to form a NATO of genuine peacekeeping? Or get rid of NATO altogether is probably a better solution for peace. Some say that we'd never get people on board with such radical changes, that we'd have to face a collapse before any real transformation could happen. Argentina, for example, didn't elect a reformist leader until it hit rock bottom. Is that what we're waiting for? Let's be real. Most Americans are living in a mirage, obsessed with culture wars and divisive headlines that distract us from the urgent issue at hand. Climate change, racism, political scandals, while important topics, aren't our most immediate threats. World War III and the coming financial avalanche is and should be top priority. What can you do rather than just being a helpless pawn in world events? Build and invest in income-producing assets with good debt while shedding bad debt that purchased liabilities. As Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy push forward with ambitious cuts, we can only hope for a breakthrough. But hope alone won't save us. The time to act is now. For anyone looking to prepare themselves financially, my Money Act class is available at an early Black Friday price with a 90% discount. It's time to understand money in a way schools never taught us, because the storm is coming, whether we like it or not. Check out my link below for more information. If you love movies and money, this is the course for you. I make the boring fun, and we're changing lives at Money Act.